Then we will let me open that PPT. Okay, so this is very interesting image which I have collected. Can you see the how many of you have seen this kind of this kind of situation on a when you are walking on a road? Anyone has seen this kind of scene? Yes. So why it happens? What is the reason behind this?
Sir, it happens because plant roots get bigger and bigger and they break the road.
Okay, Upmanyu. Zainab, Ashna, any other points? Zainab, Ashna, I think so. You both of you are muted.
Sir, I guess the tree grows small or something.
Yes. Okay, I think so. There is some. Okay, I will explain you. So basically, these plants they are very good hydraulic engineers, and why we call this because they can generate enough force. Okay, if you see this point, they can generate enough force to split the rock and sidewalk. So how they generate the force? Okay, so there are different kinds of phenomena responsible in the plant, and that we will learn in this topic. So if I tell you the name of some phenomenon, the first phenomenon is diffusion. Okay, you might have learned this concept in your previous standard. Second is imbibition. Okay, and third one is osmosis. So these three phenomena together, they are responsible for the upward movement of water in a plant, and also generation of such a force that force can easily split the sidewalks or buckles of the sidewalks, and that force is also responsible for the transportation of water up to the height of 116 meters. Okay, so in this chapter we will learn that what are the different forces and how these forces, okay, how these forces helps in the transportation of water. Okay, fine, got it. Yeah, so let me move to the next one. Anyone knows the different types of transportation system in a plant? Yes. Anyone can tell me the different types of transportation system in a plant? No? Okay. Let me just tell you. So if okay, first of all, what is transportation? Transportation is the process in which one substance, so suppose for example, this is a cell, this is one plant cell, and there is one more plant cell present adjacent to this plant cell. Okay, so some molecules will be transported from this place to this place. So this is called as transportation. Okay, so this transportation is what? It is a process in which any substance, it can be organic substance or it can be inorganic substances, that is transported from one place to another place. Okay, that is called as transportation system. And in case of the plant, there are two different types of transport systems are present. Okay, first is called as a short distance transport. Okay, and the second one is called as long distance transport. Okay, are you all getting these points?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in case of the short distance transport, there are three different processes are involved. First process is called as osmosis. Okay, I'm just writing this randomly, the sequence may differ. Okay, so osmosis, then there is one more which is called as imbibition. Okay, And the one more is there, diffusion. And if I talk about this long distance transport, so it includes transportation in the xylem, okay, and the transportation in phloem, okay. So in this particular topic, that is transport in plants, we will focus on all these process and how this process helps in the transportation of any matter, organic or inorganic matter. Okay, I think so. You all know that in the xylem, water and mineral transportation takes place, and inside the phloem, we know that the food which is synthesized. So the transportation of food takes place in this phloem. But along with this food, some organic matter like hormones, like other chemicals, they are also transported. Okay. So first of all, we will start our chapter with the process involved in the short distance transport. Okay. Fine. Yeah. So before
Sure.
that, yeah. Let me just yeah, so before directly moving towards the process, I will just give you a small idea about the roles of plant in a plant, water in a plant. This is very basic. We all know that water is essential during a photosynthesis. There is no doubt in this. So during photosynthesis, water is essential. Second importance is that it also helps to maintain the shape of the plant. Okay, if you see this leaf has a proper shape. So plant, the water which is present in the plant also helps to maintain the shape of the plant. Okay, and this water is also very important in the transportation of minerals, because minerals can only be absorbed by the plants when they are dissolved in a water. So these are the few roles of the water in a plant. Okay, now we'll move to the next. And yeah, this is also sometimes it is also becomes very important. So if we see the anatomical modification, like how the roots of the plants are adapted themselves for the absorption of water. So we all know what is root here. Okay, so if you see, this is a small root here. Okay, yeah. And if you see, this root has many hair-like structure, which is called as this fiber, and this hair-like structure will have root hair. Okay, so why it has many root hair? Because if this root will have many root hair, then what will happen? Definitely its surface area for the absorption of water will increase. So that is why roots have numerous root hair. Okay, they will have numerous root hair. So the presence of numerous root hair is also one of the modification in the plant, which will improve the absorption of water. And if I talk about the anatomical modification, then we all know that plant cell has a large central vacuole, and this vacuole, which is present in the plant cell, is the largest cell organelle present in a plant cell. Okay, so plant has a larger central vacuole. Okay, during this this topic, we will also learn what is the role of vacuole in the absorption of water. Okay, so they have large vacuole. This is the first modification. Second modification is that they have specific tissue arrangement. So for this, if you see, this is the root hair cell. Okay, and you all can see, I hope you all can see, this lightly shaded area is actually, it is nothing but the water which is present between the soil particle and the root hair cell. Okay, so this water is absorbed by the different process. So once this water is absorbed, it is transported into the cortical cell, and from the cortical cell, it will enter inside the endodermis, and from the endodermis it will cross the pericycle, and then it will enter inside the xylem. Okay, so if you see in case of the plant, so they have very specific type of tissue arrangement which facilitates, which allows the smooth movement of water from the root hair to the xylem. Yes, are you all getting these points?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any doubts till now? No? Okay, so now we will focus on the what we can say, like the process involved in a short distance transport. If you see in this diagram, okay, let me, if I explain this again. So what is short distance transport? So for example, water has been absorbed inside the root hair cell. So now water will move from root hair cell into a cortical cell, and from the cortical cell it will enter inside the endodermis. So this type of process, okay, this type of transportation can be called as short distance transport. And the movement of water from xylem, from the root towards the tip of the plant, will be called as what? Short, will be called as long distance transport. So for example, if you see here, water is absorbed here, right from the root here, inside the root, and from the root, once it enters inside the xylem, it will go to the different parts of the plant. So this will be called as what? Short distance transport. Okay, yeah. So now we will move to the, okay, so now we will move to the different steps involved in a short distance transport. So this is not in your, so this is the first one, imbibition. Okay, so imbibition is a type of, special type of diffusion where the water is absorbed by the solid particles called colloid. Okay, this might be quite difficult definition for you, but before this, anyone knows about the diffusion? Can anyone tell me what is diffusion? Yes, Upmanyu, Zanab, Ashna, anyone can tell me? I think so Muhammad also joined. So anyone can tell me what is diffusion?
The diffusion is
Yes. Diffusion, and anyone can try? Yes, you can try.
flow of water
Flow of water.
towards semi.
Okay. So if I, let me just okay. So you are saying that
The flow of water, no, sir, flow of any substance from higher concentration to lower concentration.
exactly. So what is diffusion? It is the flow of any matter, okay? Rather than using that word substance, what you will use? You will use matter, because diffusion occurs in the solids, liquids, and gases. Okay, so please make sure that you are using word matter. And we all know that there are only, basically there are three different types of matter, but we also know plasma is also a type of matter. So at least there are four different kinds of matter exist nowadays. Okay, but yeah, there are more than four types of matter exist.
Sir,
But
in ninth, I studied about Bose and then Bose Einstein
yes,
condensate.
those Einsteinium matter. Yes, yes, yes. I was not remembering the name. So there are more than, I think so, 4 or 5 matters are present. But for now, like for our school education, we are strict to these 3 types of matter, at least in this biological sciences. So what are these 3 matter? Solid, liquid, and obviously the gases. Okay. So the correct definition of diffusion is not, so if you see, this is the correct definition. I have added the image. Movement of any matter, okay, to be very specific, movement of any matter from its area of high concentration towards the area of low concentration. So let me just explain you this. If you see over here, suppose you have taken a big, this conical flask filled with the water, and then if you add single drop of any colored solute, okay, so you have added any colored solute. So initially this particular area Okay, initially, this particular area is having higher concentration of solute. Okay, high concentration of what? Solute. Now this solute will diffuse in all the direction where its concentration is low. Okay, got it? So we can call this as what? Movement of any matter. In this case, I have taken solute. It is in the liquid state. I can take a solid also. I can take gases also. Okay, so what is this diffusion? It is the movement of matter from its area of higher concentration towards the area of its lower concentration when these two areas are in contact with each other. Okay, when these two areas are in direct contact with each other. And why I am using this word direct? Suppose, please listen to the, listen carefully to these statements, because in the exam they might ask you this type of question. So suppose this is one box and this is another box. Suppose this is box A and this is box B. So in from one point you are releasing some gas. Okay, you are releasing some gas. So that gas molecule will diffuse in all the gases after some time. But in this box B, suppose there is a barrier, there is a connection, there is a kind of barrier, and now you are releasing the same gas. So will this gas be able to occupy the entire space of the box? No. Okay, so that is why what is correct definition of diffusion? It is the movement of matter and from its area of higher concentration towards the area of its lower concentration when these two areas are in direct contact with each other. Okay, got it? Yes. Hello. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And next is the rate of diffusion
Yes,
is
sir.
maximum in gases and least in solids. Yeah, this is very like logical also. It looks very logical that rate of diffusion is maximum in the gases and least in the solids. But can anyone tell me that why it happens? Like why the rate of diffusion is maximum in the gases but least in the solids? What may be the one reason?
Sir, maybe volume or space between particles.
Okay, volume. Yeah, you are correct. Any other answer?
Or
Ashna,
maybe that.
Sarah? Yes, yes. Yeah, okay. Any other answer? Muhammad, Ashna, apart from that? Okay, so that is the correct. Like, suppose if you see solids, so their molecules are tightly packed. Okay, their molecules are tightly packed. So their, sorry, intermolecular force of attraction is very higher as compared to the intermolecular attraction of liquids and gases. Okay, so that is why rate of diffusion in gases is very higher as compared to the liquids and solids. So if I write the rate of diffusion in the different matter, so it will be something like this in increasing order. Okay, rate of diffusion in solids is less than the rate of diffusion in liquids than the rate of diffusion in gases. Okay, so if you want, then please note down this. Okay, so this is what? Increasing order of rate of diffusion. They might ask you in the exam. Okay, the question might be like, in which of the following options there is a correct increasing sequence of rate of diffusion. So they might be giving you different kinds of options, but this is the correct sequence: solids followed by the liquids followed by the gases. Okay, so this is the rate of diffusion in increasing order. Got it? Yes. Yeah. Now
Yes, sir.
let me use some, just a second. Let me just zoom it out if I can do it or not. Just a second, let me just try this. Yeah. So you all can see this, that they have given like how diffusion works and all. So this diffusion occurs in the gases, like there is some, suppose this is a food, then there will be some kind of aromatic compounds which is coming from the food, which will be received by your by the sensory cells which is present in your nose. Then you can see that some gases are diffusing. This is the diffusion in the liquids, and this is the diffusion in the across the membrane, which is very, very important. So we will discuss about that. But before that, there is a definition for the diffusion pressure, which is quite important. So is this is this statement clear for you? You all can see this clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is this diffusion pressure? If you see, the pressure exerted by the diffusing particle is called diffusion pressure. And this diffusion pressure is directly proportional to the concentration of diffusing particles. So for example, if this is a box, again, suppose, okay, let me use some good shapes. Yeah. Suppose there's one box and one more box of the same size, and then we can fill it with some kinds of gases. Suppose these are the gas molecules. So if the concentration of gas molecule in system B is more and in A is less, then from this we can easily say that if the concentration of diffusing particle is maximum, then definitely the diffusion pressure, which is denoted as dP, will be maximum in this beaker in this system B than A. Okay. So from this 2 point, what we have learned, the diffusion pressure is directly proportional to the concentration of diffusing particle. Okay, if anyone wants to note down this, then please note down this, or after this lecture I will share this notes, then that would be also good for you. If you need, then I can share this notes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Please share.
Yeah. So concentration of diffusing. Okay, so it should be like something like this, diffusing particle. Okay, and there is one more information given, and please listen carefully, because from this topic they might ask you more question from this initial topics, like what is diffusion pressure, what is diffusion pressure deficient and all. Okay, so one more point is given, like the diffusion pressure of a pure solvent is always greater than the diffusion pressure of a solution. Okay. So to explain this, let me again take suppose you have taken a beaker, and in this beaker, suppose you have taken a pure water. So if we take a pure water, so in this beaker, which is having a pure water, so in this beaker only water molecule will be present. So only water molecule is present. So the amount of water molecule in this beaker is higher. Okay, so that is why its diffusion pressure will be also higher. So what is the meaning of this third statement? The diffusion pressure of a pure solvent is always greater. So suppose, let me just give you explain you. So suppose the pure water, the diffusion pressure of a pure water was X. Okay, suppose X is the diffusion pressure of a pure water. But if you dissolve any solvent, solute, so suppose you have added some sugar crystals in it. Now the number of free water molecules will be less. Why? Because if you remember the concept of chemistry, so you might be knowing that if this is a solute particle, so around the solute particles, like water, in case of the solution, this water is solvent, so it will form some sphere, hydrosphere or something like this. So now the number of free water molecule is less, so its diffusion pressure will decrease. Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the
Yes, sir.
diffusion pressure of a pure solvent will be always higher than the diffusion pressure of a solution. Okay, got it? Any doubt till here?
No, sir.
Next is
Sir, no doubt.
there is a definition of diffusion pressure deficit. So what does it mean? It means the amount by which diffusion pressure of a solution is lower than that of its pure solvent is called as what? Diffusion pressure deficit. So again, just now we have seen X was the diffusion pressure of a solvent. But after adding some solute molecules, what happened? Its diffusion pressure got changed. So suppose now it became Y. So Y is the diffusion pressure of what? Solution. Okay. So what is this diffusion pressure deficit? Can anyone define the diffusion pressure deficit? Or in the form of equation, so it will be something like this: dPd equals to X minus Y. Yes or no? Okay, same like if you see this glass which is filled with the pure water, but once you have added some solutes in it, then what happened? Its diffusion pressure decreased. Okay, yes, anyone has any doubt till now? Please tell me fast so that we can proceed ahead. Yeah, anyone has any doubt regarding the definition of diffusion pressure and diffusion pressure deficit? Anyone has any doubt till now?
No, sir, no doubts.
And nowadays, that diffusion pressure is termed as water potential. About that, we will learn. We will do this when we will do this osmosis. Okay, so now we will see some uses of the diffusion in our biological system. So one use of this diffusion is the translocation of food. One use of this diffusion is what? Okay, so there are a few significances being given over here. So what is the first significance? Exchange of gases through the stomata. We all know that stomata is a common opening. It is an opening from which water and some gases are being released continuously. So this diffusion helps in the exchange of gases. Okay. So in exam, they might ask you a question that the evaporation of water and the release of oxygen and oxygen takes place via stomata. So which process is involved? Okay, so during the evaporation of water and releasing of oxygen, which process is involved? Diffusion is involved. In the process of transpiration, again diffusion is involved. Passive intake of salt, in that also diffusion is involved. Okay, and in the exchange of let me just scroll down. It is in the translocation of food and in the volatile aromatic compounds from flower helps in pollination. So suppose there is a flower which is trying to attract, suppose this is a flower which is trying to attract insects or a bird for its pollination. So it will release some aromatic compound which will diffuse in the atmosphere. Okay, so diffusion is used there also. Okay, so these are the few significance of diffusion. Got it? Yes. So just now we have completed the what we can say, like the definition of diffusion, and what is diffusion pressure, and what is diffusion pressure deficient, and we have also learned about the significance of the diffusion. So anything, anyone has any doubt till now?
No, sir.
Okay,
No,
and
sir, no doubt.
there are small subtopic is also there, like factor affecting the rate of diffusion. So the major factor which is affecting the rate of diffusion, so the first factor is temperature. Okay, the first factor is what? Temperature. Do I have written here? No, you all cannot see clearly. Okay, so just let me just write. The first factor is temperature. Second factor is pressure. Okay, so if the temperature increases, suppose if the temperature is increasing, it will directly, so that this temperature is directly proportional to the diffusion. If the pressure is increasing of a system, then it is also directly proportional to the diffusion. If the surface area is maximum, if the surface area is increasing, then it is also directly proportional to diffusion. So all these three factors, temperature, pressure, and surface area, will increase if these things are increasing. So if temperature is increasing, then diffusion will increase. If the pressure is increasing, then obviously it will increase. Okay, so these are the few factors which is responsible for the what we can say, like diffusion, or which will control the rate of diffusion. Got it? Fine. Yes. So I hope none of you have any doubt. If yes, then we can proceed ahead with the next process, which is called as imbibition. Then we will learn about the osmosis. Okay. Fine. Okay, so this meeting will end around within a few minutes. Okay, so what I will do, I will end this meeting now. Okay, so please join with the same link, then we can continue. So when we will join back, then we will continue with that imbibition. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Chalo, bye.